Good to go. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Joel Santana, 2005.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the song.
You don't remember Mic check 1 2 by Joel Santana?
I can't. I remember it, but I can't sing it right now.
I miss the days when the Diplomats were in their prime. Jim Jones ballin', Joel Santana mic checking. Who's the third one? Cameron. Smoking his purple haze. That's a big three, man.
I remember Ballin'. That was like
Ballin'.
that had a run.
That was their biggest hit.
Oh, of course.
The remix was great too when he got all his boys on it.
Remember Touch It or Not? What a song that was.
Lil Wayne went off on the remix. I love how he became like an honorary diplomat.
I even said the edited title, which is still very dirty.
Right, touch it. Her head is crazy, so she's insane. Bar. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today by Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back to talk about the world of Hollywood, movies, TV, and video games. Listen to this podcast, of course, on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Just got listed on Pandora. It's official.
Really?
Yep. Yes, we did. So follow us on Pandora. Follow us on social media.
5 of you.
At Nerd Soup, Bo Soup, Nerd Soup Monkey, Teddy Nerd Soup, still on his honeymoon. Tweeting us, I miss recording the pod. He's been gone for 4 days. He misses a pod a week usually, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. This is just normal, and he's in Hawaii with his wife.
That's not a good sign.
Maybe he did fall in love, like we said in the last podcast.
He misses us.
He fell in love
with
us.
In that situation.
We're literally begging to go somewhere as tropical and nice as Hawaii. Meanwhile, Ted wants to record the fucking pod.
Hey.
That's how you know your life is good.
You know, he's married to the love of his life, but he's also married to the game. So.
Right. If he was a priest saying, God, I miss Mass, nobody would question it.
I don't get the correlation there.
Because that's the priest's job, you know? Priest is on his honeymoon.
But he's also married to God.
Right, exactly. Oh, yeah, priests can't get married. They should get rid of that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, God's going to get jealous. God's not the jealous type. When has God ever done anything jealous throughout the Bible?
I can name about like 20 instances.
One of the commandments is no other gods. That's so insecure.
No.
Oh, boy, we have a lot of fun topics to talk about. Speaking of gods, Donnie Yen has been cast in John Wick 3. God of the martial arts, Hong Kong superstar.
You know what that guy did to Job?
You know what Donnie Yen did to people in Ip Man? I mean,
Fucked
IP
him
Man?
up?
Is it Ip Man or IP Man? I think it's just IP Man. No, it's Ip Man. Because there's no... Yeah, no, he fucked up a lot of people. He's made a career of that, Donnie Yen. One of our first reaction videos for Rogue One was when you weren't excited for Rogue One, and I was so excited because Donnie Yen was in it. So does this excite you? Are you excited for John Wick Part 4?
I tell you what. Donnie Yen. In terms of like this casting, I think it's a great casting, and just the backstory on the character and his relationship with John Wick, that just sounds awesome. And I think it's a perfect addition to this franchise. One that I don't think has gone stale yet, because they've been good, very good for the most part. I think you think they've gotten better, right? For you? You like 3 the most.
I do.
Yeah. I think they've been pretty consistent, and they are just great movies. And it's kind of like what Mission Impossible, it's like, well, we're going to get another one, but they just keep getting better or at least as good. So it's like, well, you can't really complain until they actually jump the shark or they just make a bad movie. So if they're going to keep it rolling and building a cast like this, I think that's something that can add a different element into it and make it fresh, right? And it's a franchise that I think it's hard to jump the shark because it is inherently just ridiculous. It's not Fast and the Furious stealing computer chips to a Jurassic World possibility is not out of the question.
Right.
So I think it's consistent, that knows what it is in terms of a franchise, and to cast great characters. I thought that Halle Berry was a great casting, and I think that character fit right into the franchise. So if you keep implementing things like that into this franchise, then I think it's something where you give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove you wrong. So yeah, I'm excited.
What I want from the Donnie Yen casting is that he is firmly on the side of John Wick. I don't want any I thought Common was going to be that character where he was going to help John Wick, more like Halle Berry in part 3, even though she was kind of a reluctant partner. That was my favorite part of the movie. But if it's John Wick, and I hope they just call him Donnie Yen, and Donnie Yen back-to-back, going against the high table, assisted by Lawrence Fishburne's Bird King guy, whoever he is. And to me, it's just so funny how each movie is just the same movie but slightly bigger. It always ends with John Wick killing a bunch of people, and at the end, he's betrayed by someone else, and he's just got to do it again. He's just brought right back in. So I hope Part 4 ends the same exact way. John Wick seems like he's down on his luck.
Donnie Yen's going to be behind it all, man.
Maybe. Yeah. I hope that they're just friends. I hope that they are friends, because there's nothing like a bromance, especially in this universe.
You just want him to be named Donnie. Do you like that when a TV show or movie, the character's name is their name in real life?
It depends. It depends if it just fits the story. I like when it's a type of story where the character is kind of like a nameless character, so they just give it the actor's name because the character doesn't, like, the name's not that important. At times it does bother me. If the actor is too well known. But it gets to a point where, like, The Rock should just play The Rock in every movie.
He does.
Because no one that is calling him his character names. Like I said, gun to your head, tell me who he played in Baywatch or the Tower movie. I can't even remember the name of the fucking movie.
Skyscraper?
Yes. I never call it Skyscraper. I always call it the Tower movie.
Well, he's Hobbs. Or Shaw?
50-50. That's your best chance. Gun to your head. Show up. So, Donnie Yen playing Donnie Yen in John Wick Part 4. And like you said, it's a franchise where I do think they keep getting better. I gave Part 3, back when I was in the 10 rating scale, a 9.6 out of 10. So, very controversial at the time. A lot of people were upset with that rating, but I stand by it. Fuck them.
That's good. Stand by your convictions. Yeah, I think, how many of these do you think we get in total?
With Keanu Reeves starring, I think he'll go for maybe 2 more. Because, I mean, he's older. He's getting there in the late 50s, and that's not to say that he can't do it for another 5 to 10 years, but it gets to a point where John Wick has been through a lot. And these movies, I can't imagine that they are easy to shoot. Sure, he has stunt doubles, but it's still a lot of the movie is just him running around and trying to kill people. So you have to factor in the actor's age and whether or not it's going to still be believable. But I think he's got 2 or 3 in him. I would say 6.
That's good.
Because right now you're halfway there, right? You might as well wrap it up with a nice clean 6. 4 is shooting now. I think 5 was already announced. So, yeah, I think he'll go 6.
I would like that.
Well, we have a movie that's going for at least 2. Or if you count in the other movies, it could be like 3 or 4. I'm not really sure. But Cruella 2 has been announced by Disney.
Did you see Cruella yet?
I did not. You did.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. How was it?
It wasn't bad. A little goofy at times, but it is, it was weird because it was
Cruella.
Yes, but it was like, I don't know, it was a little dark at times, but they still had that goofy aspects of it. I thought it was a decent movie. The vibes were off the charts, though.
Oh, just the fashion vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I have shitty fashion in general, and it inspired me to, like, maybe try to spice it up a little.
You went on Ralph Lauren just to browse. I might get this. I may not.
The aesthetics, the vibes, the music, like, that was the best part of the movie for me. And Emma Stone and Emma Thompson are, like, them going back and forth was pretty cool to watch. I don't hate this. I think it was decent enough where, like, if we're gonna get more of these Disney live action, I would rather it be like another shot, another being able to see Emma Stone play this character again. That's enough for me to go back and see a sequel, rather than something else completely different or like I don't know. What's a remake they would do?
A Disney remake?
Yeah.
Live action Monsters, Inc.?
It's not sure, but yeah, it's not Disney.
Monsters, Inc. is Disney.
What
are you talking about?
I'm talking about like Disney live action.
Oh,
remake,
like of the animated.
Yeah.
Of the 101 Dalmatians. Right. Fantasia.
Right.
I wouldn't hate that, actually. Live action Fantasia.
How do you do the mouse?
He's still animated.
He's
animated, but the sets are all... No, that would look terrible.
Yeah.
Pizza Rat.
Mm-hmm.
Ho-ho!
But yeah, Emma Stone
Catch
as
My
that
Subway.
character. It was enjoyable to watch that at least. Would make a fantastic Harley Quinn as a side note, but
She can just do anything, huh?
she's really good.
I wonder if she'd ever marry me. If I ever ran into her and just got on one knee and was like, hey, Garfield wasn't cutting it. Maybe Bo Soup can.
I thought you were talking about the fat cat for a second.
No, Andrew Garfield.
I know, but when
They're no longer a thing.
when I hear Garfield, I think of the I Hate Mondays.
I do love that fat cat.
I think like
They got Bill Murray to
I don't
voice
know
that
what
cat.
I don't know what they would like tackle in a sequel. Because I'll tell you this much: as far as redeeming the bad guy, where like Joker, I hate making this comparison because everyone makes the comparison. You know, I call the Dalmatian Joker. You know, at the end of Joker, he's Joker. At the end of Cruella, like, I don't think it's so clear cut. She has moments in this movie, and there's like she goes like through this without trying to spoil anything. Like, there's a large period of time where she is like super like evil and stuff, but then like she kind of gets her little redemption at the end, and you know, what are you gonna do that again? And then you know she's eventually gonna skin the dogs.
Well, when you say, what are you going to do that again? Hollywood's like, if it worked the first time, sure.
Yeah.
Skinning the dogs is definitely not going to happen. They didn't even let her smoke. I saw Emma Stone was frustrated by that. Not so frustrated, but she mentioned that she wanted to smoke the iconic Cruella de Vil cigarette. And there's no smoking in Disney movies. So maybe if since the first one was so good, they'll let her smoke in the second one. And that brings a new aspect to the character. Not only trying to kill dogs, but trying to kick the habit of smoking cigarettes. 2-for-1 special there. But you got to go for the dogs, right? That's the next step. Everyone's saying Cruella too. Isn't that just 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I guess she is a fashion crazy person, fashion crazed individual. And she has we've all seen the first clip of the movie. If you haven't seen it on the internet, the Dalmatians killing her mother. Just fucking incredible.
It's ridiculous.
It's like Jeff Bezos' origin story, like a library killed his parents.
The way like
Barnes and Noble.
The way they try to connect certain things is probably the worst part of the movie. With that, how she gets her name and things like that. It's very
Han Solo-y. Han Solo. Because you're alone.
Yeah, it's on par with that.
Right. Cringe. I do want to see it for Emma Stone, man.
She's good, man.
I think it's the perfect kids movie for her to take on, right? If you want to get that Disney check, it's a role where she's not going to be limited whatsoever because the character is so crazy.
But like for her, like that's. I mean, Emma Stone is. I would put her in the prestige class. At this point.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Academy Award winner, some of the films she does choose and the performances she gives on a consistent basis. So
no, as future Mr. Stone, I completely agree. Bo Stone. Bo Oliver Stoned.
Hey.
That's just me every day, huh?
I don't know. Maybe. I think like it depends like the social, like if you met at like I don't know. An art exhibit. That would be a good avenue for you to throw.
Right,
in.
yeah. She has to see me first, contemplating a piece of art that she really likes. That would be the way in.
Like you couldn't go up to a bar and spicky and Emma Stone.
No, definitely not. She's got to approach me. I just got to stalk her enough to know where I can be approachable in certain moments of her life. Is that illegal?
Bordering.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's move on from this topic. And before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for today's episode, Unidragon. Unidragon is by far the largest producer and vendor of wooden puzzles, and their puzzles are known for their high quality due to a technique called laser cutting. It's not only the beautiful designs they craft when making their puzzles, but laser cutting ensures that each individual piece of the puzzle will fit perfectly and will be unique and bring the design to life. And that's really the benefit of buying a wooden puzzle. They just look better than normal puzzles. The wooden nature of these puzzles allows the colors and the techniques to really pop. You could see some of these designs. They're absolutely beautiful once you finish them. And that's why Unidragon's puzzles also make great gifts for family, friends, kids, colleagues. It's a stress-reducing activity. You get to work your mind a little bit, put together a beautiful picture, hang it on the wall. There you go. And right now you can visit Unidragon's website and get 10% off your first purchase when you use promo code SOUP21. So go on over to the website and let me know what puzzles you guys will be sending me for my birthday. Someone be bold and get me one of those world puzzles.
I'll buy you one of those puzzles.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Which one do you want?
Well, I want the big world puzzle.
Puzzles were big in the beginning of the pandemic.
Are you a puzzle guy?
I like...
Well, look at some of these puzzles that we have here in Unidragon. Some nice designs here. Got the animal designs, the natural setting designs.
I like the challenge of a puzzle.
Yeah. It's a weird thing where it's both challenging and relaxing. You know, you're not getting rewarded for completing the puzzle, but it's the personal satisfaction that you get from it. But at times it can be tricky.
Yeah. And speaking of puzzles, our next story is
The Conjuring, The Devil May Do It beats A Quiet Place Part 2 with $24 million. The puzzle being how you thought that would be a good transition.
I was just...
Didn't even look at the outline.
Nope.
Just prayed.
Yeah, I hope there was a connection there.
There wasn't. But would you look at that? The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, a movie that I have seen. A Quiet Place Part 2, a movie I unfortunately haven't seen. As much as I want to get back to theaters, I'm caught between not wanting to leave my house and wanting to go to the theater. So when the new Conjuring movie popped up on HBO Max a few days ago, I threw it on instantly.
So that's surprising.
Right, well, this is the second weekend for A Quiet Place Part 2.
Right. It's still a pretty wide margin. And the fact that it is on HBO Max. But I guess that's just more of a testament to theaters coming back and people wanting to go back to the theater.
Right, yeah, and a movie like this...
And these movies always do well anyway.
Right. You can always guarantee that a Conjuring, an Annabelle, a Paranormal Activity is going to take in, domestically, usually near $20 million. So it took over $24 million over the weekend, $27 million in 45 markets over the world, for a global total of $55.2 million.
Damn.
Quiet Place dropped about 60% and took in 19.5. So Quiet Place was right on its tail. You know, it didn't beat it by that much. Only beat it by about 6 million.
Right. So,
and it's become the quickest film to cross 100 million in the North American market since the COVID crisis.
Good. I mean, that's good news. That's reassuring.
Right.
That, especially for theaters. I mean, they probably went through. I don't have any basis for this, but you would assume that's the industry that got affected probably towards the top of most industries. Just because, like, at least restaurants, you can, like, get delivery and pick up. You know, you can't pick up a movie.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, man, people were really scared about the future of movies for a while.
Yeah.
When this first happened, it felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, because it feels weird to think back on how much we didn't know about the future in those days, you know? Like when a vaccine would be coming out, or what theaters would do to try and, you know.
No, that's reassuring. Regardless of I heard you didn't like the movie. I think regardless of that, it's just good to see.
The opening scene was
I heard that was good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, here we go. The Conjuring franchise is very good.
Well, the Conjuring movies have been the best, like
right. The Conjuring movies specifically.
The spin-offs haven't been
great. The Nun, the Annabelles.
Well, the first two were James Wan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one was produced by James Wan and directed by somebody else, and it felt just so generic. As much as I love watching Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson solve these supernatural cases, this one was just too generic, relying too much on so much of what makes the horror genre so recyclable at times. So it was unfortunate. It definitely was. It's weird. It's bittersweet because the movie sucked, but I'm glad people are going out to see this shitty ass movie. A Quiet Place Part 2 seems like a movie that very much deserves it. So that's always nice when a horror movie is actually good. That's the thing. There's an incentive to make your horror movies good, because even though the bad ones make money, the good ones make more. Which is, you know, you would think that's simple logic, but that's not always the case.
Right. take a look at, like, Get Out. I mean, I think a big reason why that movie had such sustainable presence at the box office is, I thought, the promotion for it and the word of mouth, but the Rotten Tomato scores and all that they put into the promotion. And when you get that from a horror movie, because I think the viewing audience, there's something about horror that gets people out of the house and into the theater. I don't know what it is, just looking for a thrill or
It's the roller coasters of movies, man.
Yeah.
You go there, you get so invested in the world
So
and
when
the
you
characters.
so when you hear one's actually like very good, you're
Right.
like, oh, I got to see this, right?
Yeah, no, Get Out is the perfect example. When that first Rotten Tomatoes score came out and it was at 100 for so long, you imagine that if it came out and it was at 80, it's like, oh, Get Out's pretty good. We need to go out and see it. But at 100, it becomes a must-see for everyone.
Armin White, right?
Yeah, that fucking dickhead. Didn't like Toy Story 3 either. He was just sitting in his chair, rubbing his hands like, I'm about to fuck up this whole shit. But luckily, the movie still made a bunch of money. Let's move on to the next story here. We have a casting for The Matrix 4. We have Christina Ricci has joined the cast. And we have a former child star who's famous for playing Wednesday Addams. And she's also reteaming with Lana Wachowski after she appeared in Speed Racer, 2008 Speed Racer. You ever see Speed Racer?
Not the movie.
Okay. No, the movie is such a... It's not the perfect adaptation, but the look of the movie is a manga series, a cartoon brought to life.
Right.
So critics didn't really love it. It's kind of got a cult following, so that's cool to see them teaming up again. And like I said, this cast is stacked. You have Keanu Reeves coming back, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, Jada Pinkett Smith.
What's the pulse of the
Yahya
Matrix?
Abdul-Mateen. What do you mean the pulse? Like the popularity? Neil Patrick Harris, Priyanka Chopra.
Like, how relevant do you think it still is?
I think the name is enough where once they start pushing the marketing, it's going to get back in the minds of people.
Right.
The Matrix, everyone knows what the Matrix is and was. Even if you didn't love it at the time or still don't love it, it's got that name recognition. So I think when the marketing comes out, it's gonna be like Get Out, you know? If it gets good reviews, I think people will definitely go out to see this. It's probably not going to be as popular as like Star Wars coming back, right?
No, definitely not.
Because The Matrix really dominated that one summer, and then 2 years later just killed all their momentum with 2 and 3.
Well, it had that appeal, right, with the slow motion and the bullet dodging and all that.
Yeah, and the philosophy is... And it came out when Phantom Menace came out, and Phantom Menace was supposed to be the sci-fi movie of the year, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get the fucking Matrix, you know?
The red pill, blue pill,
right,
that kind of stuff. It's
still so iconic.
Yeah.
Neo is still such an icon to people.
Well, I need to rewatch him because, like, I couldn't tell you how that franchise ended off.
No one can. If you even watch that movie, you can't tell anyone how it ended off. I know they defeat the super thing that's controlling everyone, and they free everyone from those tubes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that aspect, seeing the real world and seeing how maybe technology creeps back in to try and retake over humanity. That's cool to me. That's appealing to me.
I think technically I'm interested to see how they up the ante.
Yes, right. What are the new rules?
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's got the purple lightsaber now? You know, what are the new things that you can do with the Force, right? But in terms of the Matrix, how are people...
The dodgy thing.
Yeah, the dodgy things and the learning different techniques and maybe adding in some new weapons. Because our perception of the internet has changed since 1999. There are a lot of things that they can draw and a lot of parallels that they can make that sort of mirror and commentate on what the internet has been throughout the 21st century. So there's a lot that they can pull from, and hopefully they kind of recapture that creative magic that they have with the first.
Yeah, instead of escaping a cubicle like he did in the first one, he has to escape like a Whole Foods.
Something like that. They got to find a way to incorporate internet culture of today into this movie.
Meme.
Right, yeah, there's going to be memes, but instead they're like valuable objects that, I don't know.
Like an NFT? Still don't know what those are, by the way.
Yeah, no idea.
Speaking of NFTs, it's the last story, isn't it?
No, yeah, that's the last story. Fuck. Now we have to go on to fan questions.
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People, you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
This question here from Jack and Jordan. Would you rather keep Game of Thrones Season 8 as it is, or the show never gets a last season? Just for the sake of this question, I'll say never gets a last season, because I am so content with George R. Martin never finishing the book series, and that's just better than the show for me, you know? So at this point, knowing that George might not even finish it, like I said, I've accepted that the series may never get its true ending. So, yeah. And season 8, like I said, for the sake of this question, no last season.
You keep this season. Imagine just not getting a season, not getting an ending for whatever reason. That'd be terrible. I couldn't sleep at night.
I guess not knowing what it would become would maybe very
because you wouldn't know, like, season 8 would be underwhelming. You wouldn't know the conversation surrounding it afterwards. It would just be like season 7 ends and, like, I don't know, HBO goes bankrupt. And you never get the end. You have to wait on George. You know.
No more Game of Thrones questions.
Yeah, how insufferable that would be.
This question here from Agent Pike. Who's the best fighter on Nerd Soup to take on Jake Paul?
Like, he would obviously beat all of us up because, like, he's a boxer. Even if, like, you don't, like, respect him, like, he does, like, train a lot. So he's got us there.
Yeah, I guess by default it may be Stu, but Stu's not in running shape, or Stu doesn't have stamina. He's never been great with stamina, so he'd be dead by round 2. Jake Paul's going to start putting the paws on him. Maybe Teddy, but once again, I can't imagine Teddy's stamina is that great. People don't realize how much boxing takes out of you.
No, it's
tough.
That is
a tiring ass sport. Quickly, dude. You have to be in insane shape. That's why Floyd Mayweather is as good as he is, right? Obviously being such a great defensive fighter, but he doesn't have an ounce of body fat on him for the last 25 years. So unfortunately, we would all get rocked. But it is very promising how much white America hates the Pauls. To me, that's just so heartwarming, right? And encouraging. Like, that's something that we can very much unite behind. But that fight last night, did you watch?
No, I didn't.
Just so pathetic. I mean, Logan was trying, but Floyd clearly not. It's the same thing you did with McGregor. Just get it to 8 rounds and give me my check. I mean, I'm not a huge boxing fan, so I'm not going to be like, they're ruining boxing. But it is a little pathetic.
I mean, on the outside looking in, sure, you can shit on them, but, like,
they made a lot of money.
Right.
It's the people buying it that you have to blame. Okay, but LeBron James and Kevin Durant can box, and they'd make $200 million, but they're not going to do it.
When did this obsession start with, like, internet personalities fighting? I feel like it's always been a thing.
iCarly.
Yeah.
That's the running joke. Her versus Victoria Justice. Soulja Boy claimed that he started it. Because remember, years ago, Soulja Boy challenged Chris Brown to a boxing match, and Chris Brown was, this is beneath me. I'm not going to do it. Now, I guarantee they'll rekindle that beef. This question here from Ryder Fletcher. What's the ideal amount of Invincible seasons?
I think for any show, it's like that 6 to 8 range. But I feel like with animation, you have much more possibilities and things you can do. It's easier to get an entire cast to stick around for longer, because if you're just doing voice work, I find that to be less problematic than to having live-action J.K. Simmons come back for 6 to 8 years, right? I mean, I don't know where they are with the comics, or where the story goes, or if they're still running. So I guess that has a lot to do with it, the amount of source material they have to pull from. But
I don't think it is, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it is. I think it did end. What I've heard is that there's something that happens in the comics, and I'm pretty sure it's the war that they hinted at in this first season between Viltrum and the Coalition of Planets, that even in animation, it's unadaptable because it's so big. So I wonder how they're going to bring that to life, but it does look like there is an ending in sight. And the way that they've kind of rearranged things in the show, it looks like they are trying to pace it a bit more. A bit better than the comic was paced. So I would guess, like you said, the 6 to 8 range. I don't think it's going to be a show that runs for 10 to 15 seasons, because I think they would just be milking it. Because like I said, I do think the ending is there. And if it hasn't ended, it's very close. But I'm pretty sure it has ended, because there's that one omnibus.
I think a big indicator for how shows, I think season 2, when it comes out, they'll know. Right, because you got the hype from season 1. You hope people are just going to continue to give it a shot up until that point. And what the viewership is for that season, I think they'll know, okay, we got something huge on our hands. We'll greenlight season 3 and 4 right now, and then kind of go on from there.
This question here from Gabriel. Favorite movie to watch stoned?
This is a you question.
When was the last time you watched a movie stoned? Did you go to the theater? Did you watch it at home? You're not a big stoned movie guy. Not a big stone guy.
Might have been A Clockwork Orange here.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. What a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
I was just watching it. If I can watch every movie stoned, I would. My all-time favorite movie to watch stoned.
I watched. So I was watching a movie with a girl once, and we were going through, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good movie." She's like, "Oh, let's watch it." I was like, "Nah, but I'm like, all right, let's see what the reaction is." Made it 5 minutes through Clockwork Orange.
Oh.
Not having it.
You? Or
No,
her?
Her.
Oh, she was stoned?
No, just like in
She's
general.
stone cold sober.
It's a fucked up movie.
Can you imagine? I want Teddy to sit down and watch that movie with Elena. But my favorite thing to watch stoned, especially right now, is anime. My Hero Saturdays have become so fun. Just rolling a blunt, watching my children go to work, getting better, working hard, going plus ultra. When the fuck are you going to watch it? It's ridiculous.
Soon.
Season 5 has been quite the season so far. This question here.
You'll know when I tweet like, "Oh,
yeah, you'll
took me
tweet
so
something
long. It
stupid.
took me
Yeah,
to watch My Hero. It's actually really good.
you throw me under the bus.
Anime Aaron's back,
Right?
yo."
Yeah, something stupid. This question here from D Rubs. Have any of you guys watched Peaky Blinders? You have, right?
Yeah, I couldn't.
And you hate it.
I don't hate it. I just like
You hate the Irish.
They're not Irish.
Oh,
There's some Irish in there.
right. They are in America, right?
No.
No, they're in London.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you have
Right.
long history between the two. I think it's a good show. I just got bored with it in terms of.
Oh, I'm thinking of Boardwalk Empire. I feel like they're sister shows.
Yeah.
They're cousin shows.
It's like after a while, it's like, okay, we get it. These guys are mad cool and everything, and they do crime, and it just wasn't enough for me to keep me engaged and keep on going.
He is one suave motherfucker, man. That Cillian Murphy. That might be enough for me. But that's why I struggle with television, because even if a show, it sounds like Peaky Blinders is a good show, but not a great show.
For me, it was a lot like Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
And I think Sons of Anarchy, another good show.
People love that show. Be careful.
Yeah. And I don't think Peaky Blinders is a bad show, but for me, I guess at the time when I was watching it, I really had no desire to keep going because there wasn't enough for me to like really sink my teeth into, other than I think once like the appeal of the Peaky Blinders wore off.
Yeah, I get that. I've seen that. That's happened to me. That happened to me with Mr. Robot. Even though I hear that's a show that actually gets better from season 2, so maybe one day go back and watch it. Love season 1, and then kind of just got tired of what they were giving me.
Is this real?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Where am I?
Just wanted to grab him by the neck. This question here from Hockey Dad. When are you going to review Succession? Just finished watching it. So good.
What we do? When are you gonna? Yeah. Keep bothering me about my Hero. When are you gonna watch Succession?
That is on me and Teddy.
You watch Succession, I'll watch My Hero.
Me and Teddy are going to watch up until season 2 because there's only 2 seasons, and right before season 3 we'll drop our season 2 review. So you and Nash did season 1, me and Teddy do season 2, and then Marissa and Manny will do season 3 when it comes out. Hopefully we can get them to watch. But everything I hear from the people that that follow us and watched it because of your review, they all said great job and recommending me this because it's a good show.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's ever recommended it to anybody.
Yes.
I'm
You're welcome, HBO. God, how much fucking
even though
shit.
I was fucking late and got recommended and didn't listen for a while, and I finally watched it and I enjoyed it.
This question here from Monroe Avenue. What's the last personality you imitated after watching a movie? I do this all the fucking time, man. Every time I really love a movie, I'll take personality traits from one of the characters.
Oh, of course. It's the old after you watch an action movie. You go back to your car kicking.
Yes. I just watched a movie about a middle-aged writer who's in Italy. So now I feel, and he's an intellectual and he's very charming. So now I like to, I've been reading more after watching that movie.
I think I told the story a while ago. Me and my roommate in college started watching Mad Men.
And
So we just started ripping cigs and drinking whiskey neat. It works. It's cooler when you're Don Draper and not two fucking college kids sitting around drinking whiskey and ripping bogues. But
yeah, you guys took the like the completely wrong message from that series.
Yeah, no, of course.
Amazing.
Well, we only watched the first few episodes, so
Right.
that was enough. We stopped there and like kept it at these guys are badass.
You're like, okay, we get this.
These guys are cool.
Yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, not until like the other like into the 1950s dynamic. But I'm in a little Cruella mood.
Right.
Not in the dog ways, but I want to take some of those vibes and incorporate them into my life now. I'm gonna be a big vibes guy.
You should become a fashion guy.
Too lazy. I don't know what looks good. A nice pair of jeans and a solid tee. I wore a purple shirt the other night. And I was like, oh, who's this guy? When'd you get so fancy?
This question here from Curtis. He says, how about a shout out to my fiance Beth Bailey? Our baby boy is due in 4 weeks. Congratulations to Curtis
congratulations.
and Beth. Wow, imagine that, having a kid.
I couldn't imagine it.
This question here from Dom O'Connor. What's your thoughts on the Batman being rumored to be a bad movie and being pushed back to 2023? First I'm hearing of either. Rumors that it's a bad movie, that's every fucking movie these days. I mean, if the rumors persist, like the movie sucks, it's being reshot, it's clearly shit. What was the movie that they had those rumors about for a long time, and then it came out and it was just okay, it was pretty good.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like we get that all the time, but I haven't heard those. Have you?
I think it was a comic book movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman.
No.
Or the Harley Quinn movie.
I can't recall, but it's still early. I
mean, for a movie to be filming and people are saying it's bad, they always say that's hard. It's hard to tell if you're working on a bad movie unless it's really bad, where you start to pick up on, holy shit, what are we doing here?
At this point, you kind of just put your faith in Matt Reeves, and just from what we got from the trailer, and the cast is good, so.
Well, they didn't. No, that was the Mission Impossible that had to shut down production.
Mm-hmm.
And they shut down, I guess, when Pattinson got COVID. What was that, last year when they restarted shooting, and then they had to shut down? So 2023, I mean, you never know when it comes to Warner Brothers in normal times. The amount of years they push back their movies. So that, like I said, I haven't really heard anything about these rumors.
No, me neither.
Maybe we should have a closer ear. This question here from the Riper. Have you ever seen a German movie, which are admittedly almost all horrifically bad? I've seen some pretty good German movies. Nosferatu.
What's the German show?
Right, yeah. Just watched a German show, World on the Wire, that I'm trying to get you to watch. I don't know. I don't want to say why I'm trying to get you to watch it because I don't want anybody to get any ideas. But yeah, no. Fassbender, German show that he shot in the late '60s, early '70s. It's about 4 episodes, and it was fantastic. The Matrix before the Matrix. That's what people call it. So. German movies, I haven't seen a lot of German movies, but the ones I have seen by Fassbender, one of my favorite directors. The German expressionism movies of the 1920s are great, like Nosferatu and The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Fritz Lang, also a good German director. Actually, he directed the movie I mentioned the other day on our review of Mayer. You Only Live Once. I need to definitely see some more German movies. You ever see Das Boot?
I mean, most recently, Dark, obviously the television show, it was phenomenal. I do enjoy, like, no jokes aside, just how they speak of German cinema in Inglourious Bastards. Because it's like, to me, you get that sense that, that was one of their, like, goals, was to match the Americans in that sense, in a cinematic sense. And just how that was such a prominent thing, and especially, well, everywhere pretty much in, like, the heyday of movies, but like the way they discuss cinema in that movie, that's something I always was fascinated by.
Somebody answers our question with, "How about you send me questions?" Oh boy, yeah, that is an interesting point. And what's her face? Do you remember the actress's name?
Vidya von Hammersmark.
Okay, but her actual name?
In real life?
Yes.
Oh no,
she's an incredible actress.
Yeah, she is.
Great German actress. Then I can't remember her name. Diane Kruger? Diane Kruger.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I watch German stuff. Oh, sorry. Curtis actually had a question. He just didn't want to shout out. Which film for the rest of the year do you think has the best chance to hit $1 billion?
Spider-Man. Next, yeah.
Dude,
I hope.
I wonder what's going to be the first film post-pandemic or current pandemic to hit $1 billion.
Well, right now we have Black Widow. I'm not maybe 8 to 9, but it's going to have the Disney Plus aspect to it.
Right, that may hurt it.
Eternals, maybe the first non-Disney Plus Disney movie, Marvel movie.
I feel like Eternals is big enough to hit $1 billion, man.
I think
Marvel Epics just hit $1 billion. No matter what it's about,
it's got to hit. Did Guardians hit $1 billion?
Neither Guardians hit $1 billion.
Yeah, so that's tough because I think that's the, even though they're different movies and different vibes and everything.
Well, I think
in terms of just characters people aren't familiar with.
Right.
So, and that got great reviews, Guardians. So if the same thing can happen, and maybe it doesn't even hit $1 billion. But I think it's Spider-Man, especially if you get something in the trailer that makes people go, "What? It's Tobey Maguire. What?"
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's got the best chance. I would love for Dune to do those numbers. I think Dune will surprise some people.
What's the number you're like you can breathe?
700.
Mm-hmm.
Even 600. I mean, the Mission Impossibles, they don't make huge profit. And they have pretty big budgets. You know, they'll 150, 185, and then they'll make like 660. So that's not huge profit, but it's enough to, okay, we're going to continue this. Let's see if we can make a little more next time.
Yeah.
So I think if Dune gets into that, like the Mission Impossible ranges, where it is profitable, it's not that Denis Villeneuve has another loss on his belt. It will be easier for me to...
I think over 80%, 700, you're good.
Yes. That would be really cool. This question here from Nell.
I feel like that's a movie I'd rather have an 80%. You know how like Endgame got like 80 something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like for that type of movie, I want that other than a 96.
Yeah, because it's almost like when you want them to be
the 80s
different.
Really gonna love it.
Right, the 80s, it's like Blade Runner 2049. Like it didn't work for some people, so that's why it's kind of in the high 80s. A lot of masterpieces kind of find themselves in the 80s. You know, even their first Blade Runner doesn't have a huge, very high score on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, or look at all the Kubrick movies that came out and they split critics. That rarely happens these days, right? Where critics totally miss on a movie. Like, what was the last movie in the 21st century where it was either panned or split critics, and now it's considered a classic? We got this wrong. Batman v Superman.
I was going to say the same fucking thing.
Batman v Superman has, I don't think it's reached that point, but a lot of people, more people have come around to it over the last year or so, especially with the Snyder Cut. But I don't think we've had one of those recently, right?
It's always so too early to tell, I think.
I feel like Suspiria could be that movie, but people don't really talk about the new Suspiria. It kind of just came and went. All right, we'll take one more question here. This question here from Mike. Hey, Aaron, thoughts on the Isles game? I was at Game 6 against Pittsburgh, and the Coliseum was electric.
Yeah, I was there for Game 3. They lost in overtime, but that place there's just something about it. It's a shithole.
Those are the best places.
It took bathroom lines are flooded right out the bat. Takes a whole intermission.
I hate that.
They still have a smoking section. It's one of those places, though. And
still has a smoking section.
It's ridiculous.
Oh no!
But it fits so perfectly.
Long Island.
But no place gets louder, and Islander fans are fucking insane. To the point where it's no matter what, when you have like 15, 16,000, like even though it wasn't full capacity, I think we're still louder than any other arena at full capacity. And I don't know, Game 4 would have been incredible to be at when they won at home, but...
What's the state of that series right now?
2-2 going into Game 5.
Who are you guys playing?
Boston.
Oh, nice. Fuck Boston.
Hell yeah.
That's all I know. All right, go Islanders, man. Thank you guys for listening to this week's... Oh, no, we actually have one last question for you here, Aaron, from Josh. Why is your letterbox so shit?
I only reviewed 3 movies.
I think that's why he's calling your letterbox shit.
All right, I'll do more.
Why don't you do a little log of Mayor of Easttown? Mayor of Easttown's on Letterboxd. Throw a couple comments on it.
I'm better verbally.
Okay. Obama. All right, guys, that is the Nerd Soup podcast for this week. You like that? You like that compliment? Well, he's a good speaker.
I know, yeah. You meant it as a diss, and I'm taking it.
No, like you think that you're Obama. That's the diss. I'm better verbally. Like you're some great orator. You're the voice of a generation. Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey.
I have never said that. If people say that, then people can
have
say
said
whatever
that about
they
me,
want.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I wonder what people are going to say about this two-man podcast. Teddy's coming back. Well, not the end of this week, but next Tuesday, right? So we just got to hold ship till his arrival, till his return. But I thought this was a pretty good episode.
I thought it was really good. I think we've been thriving without him, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're one of those people that John Morant's hurt, the Grizzlies are better, something like that. Like what? Westbrook goes down, the Wizards win 3 in a row. Are they better without Westbrook?
No, I mean, we miss Teddy here. And he misses us. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's even stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we miss him. He misses us. We hope you guys miss us as well and then return on Friday. But like, share, do all that stuff. Leave us a nice review. And also, if you want to send us fan questions, the best place to do that is Twitter and Instagram. So follow us there. We don't even promote the email anymore. It's sad. All right, Aaron, any last anything you want to get off your chest before I cut these mics? My finger on the button.
No. My chest is clear.
Well, would you look at that? It's finally over. Hey guys, Bo Oliver here for one final send-off. Now, before I beg you guys to like and share this video, I'd like to thank our very special Patreon pledgers. We are very proud of the community we've been able to build here at Nerd Soup, and it would not have been possible without our Patreon supporters. You guys are the true MVPs of this channel. Everything I've said, you keep the fridge full, you keep the lights on. There aren't enough words to thank you guys, but we'll do it anyway. Thank you. And we have a few videos coming up that have been suggested to us by Patreon pledgers. My Hero Academia, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Full Metal Alchemist will be reviewed by Marissa and yours truly, and Castlevania, which will be reviewed by Marissa and Aaron. And if you'd like to consider donating to our Patreon page, you can visit patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out some of the rewards we offer to our listeners. And really, we'd like to thank everyone who takes the time out of their day to watch our videos. Patreon pledger or not, your support is what keeps us motivated to keep giving the world our opinions on movies and TV shows and video games and pop culture, even though no one asked for it. We're still here, we're still yapping, and we hope you continue to join us. I'm Bo Oliver, and I support this message.